Welcome to Making the Case. I'm your host, Yodit Tewolde. As R. Kelly looks at a possible sentence of life behind bars, reaction to his conviction this week continues to make headlines. A jury convicted the singer on all counts on Monday in his racketeering and sex trafficking trial. Some of the survivors of R. Kelly's sexual, physical, and emotional abuse have responded to the verdict online, while others have remained silent. With me is criminal defense attorney and vice president of the Atlanta chapter of the NAACP, Gerald Griggs, who also represents the family of Joycelyn Savage, one of the young women allegedly abused by R. Kelly. Gerald, Kelly's been convicted, but his legal troubles are far from over, so let's discuss. How did the Savage family react to the guilty verdict?
It was a lot of emotion by the family and by other survivors. Of course, it was relief. There was still grief for all the pain that's been caused, but there was a sigh of relief that justice is in a process, and it started with that verdict in the Eastern District of New York.
Now, through the evidence presented in court, Gerald, we definitely learned a great deal more about Kelly's abuse, but we've known that he was a sexual predator before Monday's verdict, but Kelly's been able to hide basically in plain sight for decades, even getting acquitted when he was tried in 2008. Were the Savages ever doubtful that he would ever be held accountable?
No, they were never doubtful. Again, the Savages have been on this journey since 2017. They had met many of the accusers. They had helped to collect many of the witnesses. And so they knew that at least 11 accusers would testify. There are far more. And they were confident in the evidence that the Eastern District of New York had, that Homeland Security had gathered. And of course, they are even more confident in the Northern District of Illinois and the other cases.
Now, Joycelyn wasn't one of the named accusers in this case, but do they feel they've been vindicated in some way?
Absolutely, they feel they've been vindicated. One of the named accusers and the testifiers in the case actually brought up some of the abuse that was suffered at the hands of R. Kelly while Joycelyn was there and while Joycelyn probably witnessed it and was abused herself, allegedly. So they were vindicated by everything that they've said, and they continue to focus on reuniting with their lovely daughter, who they want to continue that loving relationship. So they were definitely vindicated by the evidence.
Okay, so you said they're looking forward to being reunited with her. Are her parents in communication with their daughter at least?
They have been in communication as recently as a month ago, but not direct, consistent contact that's face-to-face, is what they've been demanding since 2017.
So they haven't talked to her since the actual verdict?
No, they have not spoken directly to her since the verdict. They are respecting her distance right now, but they want to make sure she understands that now Mr. Kelly has been removed from the picture. It's time to rekindle that loving relationship, and they are ready, willing, and able to, with open arms, to welcome her back to the family.
Gerald, do you think more accusers will be encouraged to come forward now that he's been convicted?
I definitely think so. I think that women have been empowered. I think young men have been empowered. This victimization has been going on for almost 30 years, and it was going on in silence. It was being enabled. It was being allowed to happen in plain sight. So I think this particular verdict, handed down by 7 men and 5 women, allowed us to see into what this criminal enterprise looked like, how it was facilitated, and ultimately how it was brought to justice.
Now, Kelly's days in court, they're not over. He still faces 2 upcoming state trials, a federal trial. People have asked why these other trials are even necessary. You know, if Kelly could be in prison for the rest of his life on the charges he was just convicted for, then why is it important to pursue him on these other charges? Tell the viewers why it's important to still pursue Kelly on these other charges.
Again, there were more victims, there were more survivors. This was just the tip of the iceberg. We always considered the Eastern District of New York a strong case, but it was not the strongest case. It didn't include all of the survivors. So that's why the Northern District of Illinois is important. That's why Cook County is important. That's why Minnesota is important. Mr. Kelly must be brought to justice for all of his crimes, not just the RICO conspiracy and violations of the Mann Act. We're talking about child pornography. We're talking about aggravated child sex assault. We're talking about all kinds of crimes that happened under this 25-year reign. So it's important that he be brought to justice. All of the survivors get their opportunity to testify in court and, of course, be cross examined. And, of course, Mr. Kelly received due process, but ultimately he needs to be brought to justice. And that's why these other cases are necessary.
And to also be able to give these other accusers their day in court as well. All right, let me get your thoughts on another case that you're close to. We're less than a month away from the state murder trial of the 3 men accused of killing ARbury. This case has been riddled with corruption from the start, which resulted in criminal charges being filed against the former DA earlier this month. Between now and the trial date, there's always this back and forth between both sides about what evidence can be introduced, other pretrial matters that need to be resolved. Have there been any recent developments on that front? Anything we should be aware of?
Again, the judge has already ruled on pretrial matters in this case. So all that's left next is jury selection, which will begin October the 18th, and the trial will commence. So there may be some additional motion in limines that are filed right up to the day of jury selection, but nothing substantive that could affect the outcome of this trial will happen between now and jury selection. So the McMichaels are set to go to trial. William Roddy Bryan is set to go to trial. The community is preparing. There will be a rally right before the trial on October the 16th in support of Ahmaud, and we will continue to run with this family and run with Ahmaud till we get justice.
Now, Gerald, unlike R. Kelly's trial, this trial is going to be open to the public, and you know we're going to be covering that case minute to minute, but that usually means there's more coverage. What impact do you think that could have on the trial as a whole?
I mean, anytime you have a trial that's played out in public on television, there are all kinds of extracurricular things that may happen. But this particular judge has been sitting for a very long time. I'm sure that they will take the necessary precautions to make sure that both is a fair trial, but also an accessible trial. But there will be loads of media there. There will be loads of other people there. Of course, we still have our COVID precautions in the state of Georgia because we're still in a judicial emergency. But it will be more accessible than the case that happened in federal court for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. So I fully expect that many of the supporters will be there. I fully expect that the defendant's family members will be there. But I suspect that this will be a fair trial that will be commenced very expeditiously and will move in the proper fashion here in the state of Georgia.